Anyways, that's it for the games. Let's get to the fun stuff. So it was recently announced that at the end of the season, Antonio Conte's contract will not be renewed. He's not doing so well for Spurs at the moment. So let's speculate who's going to be the best to replace him. Targo, give me your top coaches to replace Antonio Conte.
My top to replace Antonio Conte. I think my number one has to be Thomas Tuchel. Coached at Dortmund, PSG, recently at Chelsea. So maybe he wants to stay in London, give the little rivals a chance. I think he's probably the best option for Spurs at this point.
He's probably the most high profile that's available, at least. Yeah.
I mean, other than
I still don't know
Zidane,
why Chelsea fired him.
I don't either. Chelsea.
So
that was a dumb decision on their part. I
Chelsea's
think.
being Chelsea. So,
but I mean, the other biggest, I would say, coach would be Zinedine Zidane, but I don't see him taking that job.
No.
My number two coach to take over Tottenham Hotspur would be Joachim Low. He left the German national team in 2021 and is still currently unemployed. I think he could do maybe a solid job at Spurs. I don't know if he'd lead them to trophies or anything like that, but I think he'd be a definite solid stopgap for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he's been out of a job this long. I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to or he's just waiting for the right opportunity. But, I mean, hey, maybe Tottenham calls in Jurgen Klinsmann and says, hey, can you be our agent on this one? And gets Low in there.
I mean, yeah, he's a World Cup winner with Germany, so he's got the pedigree there. That's a great thing to have on your resume. Not many coaches have that.
No, not at all.
And then, honestly, I think this guy would be great for Spurs if they could get him. I don't know if they can, but it's going to be Thomas Frank, who is the current coach at Brentford.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic, done a fantastic job at Brentford. I think Brentford are going to have a heck of a time keeping a hold of him. Kind of similar to the situation of Brighton and Chelsea, how Chelsea were able to lure Graham Potter away from Brighton. I think it's going to be a similar situation. Can Brentford keep Thomas Frank at Brentford?
Yeah, I mean, not only are they going to have a hard time keeping a hold of him, but they're going to have an even harder time replacing him. He's done a fantastic job with next to nothing. And with the way Tottenham does transfers, I have to agree. You know, he would be perfect for it because he does a lot with next to nothing, and Tottenham don't like to spend money.
Yeah, so I think he'd be honestly a fantastic fit for Spurs and could probably do good things with them.
Yeah.
So those are my three to replace Conte.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with beating a dead horse. My first one is Mauricio Pochettino making the dramatic comeback, thinking he's better than Spurs. Coming back.
You think so, huh?
He himself loves that organization, and they love him. I think it's just a feel-good story as a patchwork to put a Band-Aid on a problem at Tottenham. Pochettino went to PSG, couldn't handle that locker room. The locker room at Spurs, I mean, they already know. They know Pochettino. They know how he plays. It would be a seamless transition.
He did good things with them, took him to a Champions League final.
Oh, he did fantastic things with Tottenham. So yeah. I think that would be the one way to get the team out of the dumps. Now, the real question is...
Do you remember why he left?
I'm pretty sure it was mutual because they didn't do very good for a season. It's either that or PSG wanted him. I don't know.
I can't remember.
But I think, yeah, he brought them their best success, which isn't really for most clubs a success. But we'll see. Next up, a coach that's been kind of all over the place, Peter Bosz. He's Dutch. He's coached at Ajax, Dortmund, Lyon, and Leverkusen. It's more of his style of play and his demand out of his players for me. He likes the attacking possession style, but and he loves heavy pressing. So very similar to Manchester City, Arsenal, Manchester United. All those teams are very successful, and it's the one thing and the complete opposite of Antonio Conte. It's the one thing Tottenham doesn't do. Is play attacking possession style soccer. I think he'd be a great fit for a board and Daniel Levy, who wants to completely make the fans happy at this point, because nobody is happy with Antonio Conte, including Antonio Conte. And then last, I have to agree with you, man. Thomas Frank. He would be a wonderful fit for Tottenham. The problem is, can you get him out of Brentford? And then
I don't know. That's the big question, isn't it? Can they lure him away from there?
Yeah.
It's not a project he wants to take on.
I don't think money is going to do it. It's going to have to be more of a freedom to do what he wants. But he's done wonders at Brentford. I mean, they've only been in the Premier League, 2 years since getting promoted?
Yeah.
And they're already pushing for European places. So he's done fantastic. He would be a great fit. That way you don't need to bring in a lot of players, just ship out the old ones. And he makes everybody that he coaches better.